Hello, and welcome to Why I Love Warhammer, the series where I go into an unscripted ramble about why I love something in this hobby. And on today's episode, it is the weekly news roundup, so you can have a week's worth of Warhammer community articles in one place. So we're going to start where we left off last week with the Las Vegas Open teaser, covering all the basic games that they cover. Kill Team, I think it's going to be... We might well get a release date for that new Night Lords box, which makes me very happy as a Night Lords fan. Horus Heresy, I imagine that's going to be more Legions Imperialis. 40k, I'm hopeful we're getting the new Codex revealed. It was in the roadmap, but I want to get some more detail. And then Sigmar... I don't know. I'm excited for that. There's so much it could be. When's it airing? 5 in the morning UK time. I would love to be doing live streams of these to do a live reaction, but don't think we're quite at that stage yet for this channel. And of course, they seem to know that we like the animal companions. Like the crab got a lot of praise the year that came out. Then there was the octopus. I think they're banking on that a little bit right now, and as much as I'm a cat person, and I do like Sphinx cats, this feels a little bit cynical to me, but I'm still going to enjoy it. I probably won't. I'll be very unlikely to be watching the whole show at 5 a.m, but I'll definitely be reading the articles afterwards. Okay, next. This feels a bit bittersweet. We had a lot of issues with the pre-orders for The End in the Death Volume 3 on Saturday. So having this very in-depth interview with the author feels a bit bittersweet now. Like, it's cool, it's good information. It's a bit hard to swallow now. I try to keep as positive as I can on this channel. This is a positivity channel. But I'm not going to pretend something's good when it's not, right? And this could be the most incredible book in the world, but they kind of fluffed it at the pre-order stage. The new spearhead for the Stormcasts. I feel like I misjudged the Stormcasts when they first were revealed. I was fully on the bandwagon of these are just Space Marines and Age of Sigmar, Sigmarines, and they kind of are, but they've got cool lore with them. The whole reforging thing, I think, has a lot of... That's a really awesome... Yeah, there's a lot of potential with that in terms of storytelling. They did that show Black Talon, which I feel really went into it quite well. Also, the Stormcasts have the coolest animals. They've got all the Gryph-hound, they've got all the dragons. It's awesome. They don't have the Manticore, but on the whole, they've got loads of really cool animals in the Stormcast Eternals army. And yeah, we've got these large Gryph-hounds here. I also fully appreciate there's a need, if you're trying to get people into the hobby, to give them something easy to paint. Like, you don't want to start someone off with Ivrain, right? It's a tricky model to paint. You want to start them with something nice and simple. Your Space Marine. Stormcast. Necrons are good for that purpose as well, as are Tyranids. Gene Stealer cults, maybe less so. So yeah, the spearhead. This looks like a cool box. I don't know how many points it is. 16 models. It's 16 models, but these two are pretty big. So I think for me, I'll be looking at this box in terms of not just points, but also like volume of plastic. Everyone's got their own method for determining whether a box is worth it or not, and I've got a specific calibration in my mind for what counts as worth it. Well, there's worth it and a good deal. And to be entirely clear, at least in the 40k space, there have been 2 boxes since I got back in the game at the start of 8th edition. Let's say the start. I wasn't. I stopped with the game in fifth edition, and then came back kind of halfway through eighth edition, maybe a bit into eighth edition. I wasn't like following news at the point that they launched the eighth edition launch box, so I'm not counting that. But basically, the edition launch boxes, the Indomitus and Leviathan, I genuinely view as a good deal. The amount of models you get, the amount of plastic, the volume of plastic, plus the books, plus the ancillary stuff, I view those as genuinely good deals. A box like this, these discounted boxes, I view those through the lens of, are they good for a Games Workshop product? There's kind of two different levels of pricing I kind of keep in my head. And so for these boxes, is it worth it rather than is it necessarily a good deal? And so when I'm determining if I view this box as worth it, it's a combination of points and volume of plastic. This is a beautiful model. I love how Games Workshop sculpt wings. I think they're just really beautifully done. And if you've followed this channel for a lot of the Why I Love episodes regarding Space Marine Legions, I am a sucker for diorama bases. They make models, A, they're often beautifully sculpted, and B, they give models that shouldn't be too tall in themselves, but it makes them into a bigger model. And sometimes you just need that. Rumor Engine. This is Seraphon, right? These are going to be some lizard men. Either Age of Sigmar Seraphon or something for the old world. I doubt it's going to be a Zote. Happy to be wrong if it's a Zote. But yeah, this looks like a very kind of dinosaur tail, but feathery dinosaur with that tail. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one being answered. But the problem with these rumor engines, right, is it could be answered next week, and it could be answered in a year, it could be answered in 5 years. It's a weird state of hype for the rumor engines. So it's interesting. I can go, ooh, Seraphon. But for all I know, this is the tale of the Eldari Exodites who ride dinosaurs, right? It's so hard to predict because we could only see this come to pass in a decade. Some nice armies of renown for Age of Sigmar. I think Age of Sigmar is underrepresented. Like Glooms, like Gits have loads of cool monsters. I love the mushroom aesthetic that a lot of them have. I love this beetle thing. A part of me wishes I could have an army in Age of Sigmar that's just the insects, that's separate to the army of the tree people, because they're both independently awesome, and I feel like I'd really like to kind of focus in on one. But yeah, that's not how that army works. It's mostly trees with some bugs. Ionis Cryptborn. I love these dragons. I love these dragons that Age of Sigmar puts out. I mean, this guy on top, it feels like he could, he wouldn't be able to place in 40k either. But he's awesome. He's got a cool skull face. He's got a big bashy weapon. But I don't know about you, but I'm not looking at this model for this dude on top. I'm looking at this model for this gorgeous dragon sculpt. I'd love to paint up one of these. The red and black on the dragon itself, I think, is phenomenal. The pale coloration down here, source of Colorado coloring, like killer whales have, where it's kind of white on the bottom and black on the top. So if you're looking at them from on top or underneath it, they're a bit camouflaged. It's kind of been taken on with this dragon. I like that. Even if I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, from an evolutionary purpose, this is why a dragon would have that color. No, it's just cool. It looks cool. It'd be fun to paint. Interesting that Ionis Cryptborn here is 400 out of 2,000 points. Like, this is a full 1/5 of your army. I mean, as it would be. Okay, some more free rules for these guys. Actually, these guys look a lot like, in terms of sculpt, they look a lot like the Peter Jackson uh, goblins and orcs from the Hobbit trilogy. Just with the type of spiky they are and these horns. I think it works a lot very well for Age of Sigmar because they are a bit cartoony, they're a bit silly, but in a gritty way that is really cool. Um, I'm always a sucker for the whole outthink type thing. The way they speak, the way they speak is just endlessly entertaining to me. Next, this was a weird article on Facebook when they shared this. They said, "Oh yeah, obviously not Lorgar. Obviously not Lorgar." Which I feel is a bit weird because, like, I do love the word bearers, but I love the word bearers because sometimes you just want to play as the absolute worst. But that's my opinion of them. It'd be kind of, I'd feel bad if I'd read that post as a word bearers fan who thought that Lorgar was either right or misunderstood, or that Lorgar had enough character complexity to really to deserve better treatment than that. It felt a bit weird, but yeah, who's everyone's favourite Primarch? And yeah, naturally, it feels like no one picked my favourite Primarch. Let's just double check. Did anybody pick my favourite Primarch? Nope. No one mentioned. There's no mention of Conrad Kurz in this article. No mention of my boy. We have his picture. We've got him here, but no mention of him in the article. If they'd hired me and interviewed me for this, I would have been talking about how awesome I think Conrad Kurz is. But yeah, so that was this article. I mean, basically, this was another hype piece for the End in the Death Volume 3, which, again, it's a cool article. It's a fun discussion point, right? Who's your favourite Primarch? Who's your favourite character in the Heresy? There are loads of good answers. But when that's the hype piece for the way the End in the Death Volume 3 pre-orders were handled, again, it's bittersweet. If that had been handled well, right? If there hadn't been complaints, I would have been so hyped to go, oh my god, who's your favourite character in the Heresy? I love Conrad Kurz, he's my favourite. But also, how cool is Rananor? And how cool is Vulcan? And how cool is Magnus? Hype. It's a bit hard to get hyped. I had the Warhammer Plus show where they just kind of had big stompy things fighting each other. It was an interesting one. The article spoils who wins, but yeah, it was a strange one that made the Galaxy seem a bit more hopeless. Suffice it to say, and I always spoil one little thing: the Silent King, my liege lord, the Silent King, did not come out on top. I won't say he was robbed. I thought that the fight, given the rule set that they'd established, it was a fair fight. Let's not scroll down too far down. Warhammer Underworlds. I need to really give the system a go properly because it looks so cool, and it's that wonderful blend of board game and tabletop game. So many of the models they put out for Underworlds are so pretty and be so fun to paint that I really want to give this a proper go. Look at these Tzeentch demons, right? Very Tzeentch. Like, look at this guy. He looks like he looks a bit like Sebulba from Phantom Menace. This guy looks brilliant. I love these little guys. This looks so terrifying. It's like the guy from Pan's Labyrinth. That guy. I've not actually watched Pan's Labyrinth, which is why I don't know that guy's name. I just know he does this and has eyes in his hands. Some good old skeleton warriors and these Slaaneshi demons. I do like skeletons. I like skeleton warriors in my tabletop games. It feels very kind of classic fantasy setting to have a group of skeletons. Okay, Legions Imperialis, a bunch of dropships. This, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this game would benefit. I feel like the ships in this should have maintained the hexagonal bases that they had from when they were still in Aeronautica Imperialis. But it's just nice to see an epic scale game again. I'm as cool as it is. I'm still desperately hoping that they expand it out to beyond the Horus Heresy. Squat land trains from Epic, the orcs from Epic were just really cool, and I'd love to have those officially supported. So, but it does still looks like a really fun game. Legions Imperialis. I keep calling it Legionis Imperialis, adding an I, just in there. But yeah, I think these are cool ships anyway, and I think they're well sculpted. And they've got the old classic flying stand. So yeah, I do like these things. They are very cool. Okay, the Warhammer the Old World merchandise box. The map looks cool. I don't think I'd probably wear the t-shirt. I can't see myself wearing the hoodie. And I've got a dice bag. My dice bag's over there somewhere. My dice bag's over there. But yeah, it looks like a basically very cool merchandise box. It's probably not for me. This map, I feel like I've not researched the old world quite enough to be able to look at that map and go, oh, here, and get excited with that. But it generally is cool, and if you are the type of fan who would enjoy this, I can fully see it being just a complete snap purchase. What's weird though is I'd like the box. Like I'd happily pay money for the box, and then someone else can have the contents. Dawnbringers, just a nice summary of it so far. I think this was useful to have. Summary of all the different installments of the Dawnbringers Crusade. Again, another hype piece for the End of the Death Volume 3, and I can see why, right? This is such a culmination of all the Horus Heresy books that it did deserve a lot of fluff pieces. It deserved a lot of hype, and I really hope that the book is phenomenal. I really hope it's phenomenal. I want the End and the Death Volume 3 to be such a brilliant book that it makes people go out and buy the older books because they go, oh my god, this book is supposed to be amazing. I need to read everything. It deserves to be the greatest story GW's ever put out. And I hope that in time they can A, fix their pre-orders, but B, we can also move past that and not have the story soured by the pre-order stuff that happened. So yeah, really cool. I hope it's amazing. Still a bit bitter. The next Dawnbringers installment. Again, I'm not going to read you the whole thing like an audiobook. Not on one of these videos. Maybe I'll record myself, reading every chapter, giving everyone a voice, but I won't do that here. But the Dawnbringer Chronicles do continue. I find these very strange. I found them strange since Indomitus launched, because the Saturday pre-orders get posted UK time 6 PM on pre-order day. I personally feel like they should go up at like 9 AM pre-order day to remind you what's available for pre-order before the web store goes live with pre-orders. Because I feel like End of the Death Volume 3, great. But this went up after they'd all sold out. After people with queue jumping bots and scalpers got their hand in it. After they were going on eBay for several £100s. I feel like these articles go up at the wrong time of day. Leather-bound edition. Again, it's so cool, but so soured. Scriptborn's up for sale. Trug the Troggoth King up for sale. Beltanos up for sale, pre-order. Blood Bowl characters. Freaking love Blood Bowl. It's such a cool idea for a system. And then finally, we've got the Sunday's pre-order. We've got the Sunday preview. I want to get really excited for this. I think the Dark Angels are really cool. I love the Deathwing. I love the color scheme. I love how the models look. I love where they sit in the lore. I think the Dark Angels are phenomenal. Now with the Risen as well, with the Return of the Lion, this is such a cool box. I love that artwork. I love that codex that's contained within that. It looks like a special edition codex there. It's beautiful looking, right? I'm not going to deny that at any stage. I just hope that the people who want to buy it on pre-order day don't get shafted again. Because Dark Angels fans deserve stuff like this, right? They deserve these cool sculpts. They deserve a cool collector's box. They deserve this beautiful artwork. And they deserve it to be not delivered by scalpers. Like, I think this is phenomenal. And if it weren't for pre-orders being the way they were, I'd be definitely excited to pick. I'd be definitely trying to pick one up for myself. But I also know that there are people for whom Dark Angels probably mean a lot more who should have that box. So I'm not going to be logging on pre-order day for this box because I don't want to take the place in the queue from someone else. I don't want to take the place in the queue. I don't want to take a copy from someone who has been so much more hyped for this for so much longer than I have. Crusade supplements. I do think these are really cool dice. I like the scatter dice. Legion's Imperialis transfer sheets. A Yarrick Omnibus. I don't think Yarrick is fully dead. In the 9th edition Astromeritarum Codex, which is near the bottom of my pile of books over here, genuinely is it fourth from the bottom. There's a whole thing about Yarrick being dead. I don't think he is. I think he's too popular a character, and I think he's too important to the orcs and stuff. I think they'll bring him back with a fancier model. Oh, we're getting books of Old Bailey. We'll get the model of him back soon. Cool audiobooks. Arcadia. Pins. These are neat. Maybe I'll try and pick up a Necron one. Maybe I'll try and pick up. I don't know. They don't have. Yeah, but maybe Night Lords as well. Necrons and Night Lords. I might try and pick up those two. I'm not seeing one for Chaos Knights, but maybe I can. If I can, I'll try and pick up those two. That'd be neat. Okay, Warhammer Plus. Battle report to hype up the new Dark Angels box, and then they're catching up with the Lore Master and Citadel Painting Masterclass for the old world that went up for pre-order a bit before. It's weird, like, from a model's perspective, there are a lot of people who criticize Games Workshop for not supporting a new game or a new box after it's come out. And if you're not subscribed to Warhammer Plus, I can fully sympathise with that viewpoint. But from a whole perspective with that included, they do continue to support it. Now, whether it's right or wrong for the ongoing support for a system or a range to be through the premium Warhammer Plus service is a whole different discussion I'm not going to have right now. Mostly because my view on that is kind of against the ethos of this channel being all positive all the time. So, but yeah, it is present, and I do love listening to Lore Masters. I've said it before that the Citadel Painting Masterclass, I like watching them, but I'm not taking notes when I watch them. What I do is I watch them, so I've got this like vague memory of them in the back of my head, and then when I want to paint a model, which I'm thinking, oh, hang on, I need to technique a bit like this, my brain can then flick to, oh, there was that Citadel painting masterclass about it. And then I can then log back on and re-watch the episode with a bit more attention being paid for the specific techniques. And yeah, the battle report, Dark Angels versus Chaos Space Marines, it ought to be good fun. Anyway, yeah, so that was the weekly news roundup, a bit of rapid fire one. Sorry it was a bit soured by my feelings about the pre-order situation that went on. It didn't affect me personally, but I've been affected by that in the past. So when I hear it's continuing, I just feel really terribly for the people who've suffered because of it. And it's not even just that they run out; it was that the scalpers seem to have been kind of empowered by the recent updates to the website. So that's kind of put a bit of a sour taste in my mouth regarding these, regarding the last week and the fluff pieces regarding End of Death Volume 3. But anyway, with that, I hope you're having a really good day. If you want to give this video a like, I'd really appreciate it. If you want to subscribe for more positivity, more news roundups in your feed, I'd really appreciate that too. I've got a Patreon if you want to support me financially. And if you want to leave a comment about, let's say, make your comment question of the day. How do you feel about the pre-order situation with Games Workshop, right? Let's have a bit of a venting session in the comments, right? But yeah, with that, I hope you're having a really good day, and I will see you next time.